Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steven. I tried out testing out my new webcam. I actually bought it at Best Buy last Friday, I do believe. Um, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about accountability. Now, I actually was on a phone conversation with a friend of mine um, who actually is an advocate at NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. And she was telling me about um, her husband, who actually happens to have bipolar disorder. Okay, so she was telling me that they went up to Indiana or Illinois or some other state outside of Kentucky, where we actually reside, and she was telling me that they went to a Christmas party where her husband pretty much ruined it. Now I'm not going to name any names, but we were talking about accountability. Now, one thing we learned in the NAMI family courses is that instead of saying and directing the blame towards someone by saying you did this, you flip it around and say I feel this way. Okay, now every man is accountable to himself and to himself alone. Okay, so if I go out and I rob a gas station and I can't blame it on someone else. I have to stand up and take accountability for what I've done. Okay, now if I have hurt somebody with my words, I say some cross words to someone and I hurt their feelings. I'm responsible for that. People think that have this misconception that people with mental disabilities have no accountability. I've lived with schizophrenia for nearly 20 years, possibly longer. The actual diagnosis was in 1999, June of 99. What happened was a traumatic event set off the actual diagnosis. Let's just say that. Okay, but the blossoming of schizophrenia has been since I became aware of God. Okay. Now, God permeates all things. God exists within all things. God exists within the universe. Maybe the universe is God's mind. It's infinite. It is ever expanding, contracting, a living organism. But I don't believe in a God in the sky. I believe that God exists within man. Okay, because God created man in his image and put his spirit in the breath of his nostrils. Okay, but back to what I was saying is that we have to be accountable for the things that we do in life. Just because I have schizophrenia does not give me the right to hurt somebody, slander somebody, or lash out at another person with my voice and my tongue. Actually, I am very much held accountable to what I do. I was talking to my nephew this past Saturday, and he said something so beautiful to me that has not been said to me maybe ever. Okay, we were talking about schizophrenia. We were talking about the diagnosis. We were talking about living with schizophrenia. We were talking about the things that I've been through. We were talking about how to live with it successfully. And I expressed to him my lamentation of my living with schizophrenia, the horror that I've been through, the hard times. Let's just say that the hard times that I've been through. And he said, "You probably would not be the person that you are today if you had never developed into the person that you are today because of schizophrenia." In other words, he was saying the beautiful person that you are, Stephen. Okay, I'm not gloating, nor am I prideful man. But the beautiful person that you are today is because of schizophrenia. The person that you have developed into is a result of schizophrenia. So you have to ask yourself, would you be the person that you are today when it comes to your ethics, when it comes to your morals, when it comes to your disposition on God, when it comes to your relationship with God, if you had never been diagnosed with schizophrenia or bipolar or manic depressive, schizoaffective disorder, things of that nature? Would you be the person that you are if you hadn't have gone through all of the hard times that you've gone through if you had never gone through them? Would you be that person today? Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, maybe I never developed schizophrenia. I never started hearing voices. I never started hearing the voice of God. Let's just say I never understood the things that I understand now. And let's just say I lived life on a superficial level. It's possible I could be a drug addict. It's possible I could be a criminal, and eventually my time's up and I end up in prison. I could be a father of 3 or 4, 5 children and not being a real true father, not be around, playing the game, being a player, thinking that you can actually win the game when the game is non-winnable. All right, the game stays the same, but the players always change. Okay, so what I could be an alcoholic. I could be a disrespectful person towards God. Wouldn't be spiritual at all. Wouldn't have understood that there are things, subterranean things, lying beneath the surface of everything that we see in life. There is something more powerful, more ethereal, more spiritual existing beneath the surface of everything that we see in life. The wool that's been pulled over our eyes. So when it comes back to accountability, I am very much accountable for what I do. You know, is her husband accountable for ruining Christmas? Absolutely. But there's a way to work with people when it comes to schizophrenia or bipolar or any other disability, you know, whether it be physical or mental, or whether it be both. There's a way to work with people, and it's through love, you know, patience, hope, faith, and love. Because these things are inexhaustible. These things are infinite. You know, we live in a finite world, where a lot of the things in life that we experience are finite. Well, you know, you have to understand the infinite. You know, we are accountable for the things that we do. If I go out and I murder somebody and then I try to play that it was my schizophrenia that made me do it, no, it's not true. Not true at all. Not valid. Not legitimate, not justifiable. All right. So if I say a cross word to my brother and I tell him that he's a bad person when he's not, it's going to affect him. And who's responsible for those words? It would be me. But the thing is, he's a beautiful person. And so I have to illuminate that beauty by uplifting him with my word and being accountable for the blessings and the salutations and the praises that I give to people. You know, the Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart comes the issues of man, out of man's mouth. And it talks about fornications, it talks about murders, it talks about thefts, it talks about evil, wicked imaginations. But you have to understand there's a flip side to all that too. You know, if you have one thing that is bad on this hand, well, then you have to go around to the other hand, the opposite. Okay, so if man has within himself good and bad, good and evil, and out of the heart comes those things which are evil, flip the script. Okay, out of the heart can come beautiful things: love, compassion, patience, friendship, diligence, prudence, intelligence, intellect, peace. You know, and those are the things we got to focus on as people with mental disabilities, is that we're not living with an imaginary diagnosis. We're not living with an imaginary hallucinatory existence. This is life. You know what I'm saying? This is life. This is real for us. You know, this is spiritual warfare. This is reality. So what I want you to do is, when you get home today, after you're done watching my video, I want you to go to the people in your life I want you to tell them how much you love them. Because although it's 2:30 p.m. on the 9th of January 2018, I might not be here at 2:31. My heart could stop beating at 2:30 and 55 seconds. You know, you could pass away at any time in your life. So, yes, for the bad things and the evil things that we do and the mean things that we do to people, yes, we are accountable, but we're also accountable for the lovingly things that we do to people, for the love that we express to them, the intelligence that we illuminate from our minds and from our third eyes and from our souls and our chakras and our centers and our tongues. And go out and tell them how much you love them, how much you respect them, how much you honor them. 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, my best friend John, his father passed away. His name is Dr. Rice Cowan Leach. All right, he was a great man, doctor for about 50 plus years. All right, so when we went to his funeral, um, the preacher or the pastor, the priest, all right, he said that respect is something that you show to people when you are present with them. Honor is what you show to that person when they are not around. Not meaning that they're dead, but when they're alive, you honor those people that you love. Honor those people that you respect and that you adore. You know, I mean, it all comes down to that. The greatest things that we can hold are faith, hope, and love. And these three things do endure. But love is the greatest. So be accountable for both your good and your bad. Be accountable for your greatness and your deficits, your shortcomings, and live life positively. Live life in a way where you can change the world in one statement, one word: love. So peace be unto you.